Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new chapter of Nanatsu no Taizai, or you could call it the 7 Deadly Sins, on chapter 271. Now, this chapter right here was actually pretty cool. The end of the chapter, oh dear lord. And many other questions to come to after that, you know? So if anything else, let's just get this started. We have to it that Meliodas and Bond talks to Wild for a bit, and they go like, your younger brother has to be Hawk, right? But he goes like, Hawk? My younger brother's name is Mild. You see here, he disappeared around the time he was born, so it'd be strange. It wouldn't be all too strange if he didn't remember his own name. And he even asked him, like, you know of a man that looks exactly like me? Emilio's is like, wait a minute, did you just call yourself a man? Well, he looks like you. I'd say there's nothing much different, but he could be your clone. And that's when Wild screams in total, like, screams in total, maybe joy or something. But we have to it that Meliodas goes like, that's the same exact cry when Hawk makes when he's hungry. He goes like, Mild, Mild, and even Bond was laughing so hard about it. And the world is a crazy place. And we have to it that Wild realizes that there's a storm coming by. And he says, hey, follow me, come into my home. And we see to it that they go like, wow, you live in this pig's hut all by yourself? He said, yep, I decorated it, you know, and made it myself. It's the first time I even showed it to anyone in the purgatory, and anyone till I know. This is pretty well made. And we had to it that that Meliodas asked him, with all this free time, did you really do all this? And he goes like, well, I got a lot of free time after all. He even gives him some food to try to give it a try on, and they end up tasting it. They go like, wow, dude, tastes like purgatory. Anyways, Wild decides to continue a story like his brother Mild was taken immediately right away the moment he was born by the Demon King and sent somewhere off to the outside world. That was like 8 million years ago. And we have to it that's like, that's Hawk woke up in Britannia 16 years ago. So if a minute in the other world is a year here in Purgatory, the math adds up. So yeah, pretty much it is confirmed and always been confirmed that the time in the Purgatory is very much different compared to the world where Meliodas and Bond comes from. And we see to it that Wild tries to understand, like, I don't understand why my brother was sent to the other world. And Meliodas explains, like, it was for the Demon King to, like, watch over me, his son. That's the reason why he chose Hawk. And we have to it that, like, now Wild's like, hold up, you're the son of the Demon King? I haven't even asked your name. What's going on here? And we have to it that, Meliodas explains that, like, that his name is Meliodas and Bond is Bond, you know? And we have to it that, like, so my little brother was chosen to keep watch over you. And Meliodas explains, like, how the Demon King used animals in the real world to keep surveillance on him ever since, as long as he stayed vigilant to his duties. Not only that, they'd always die, like, in a trivial accident from the short lifespan. That's why he chose Hawk, because he's resilient and tough. And we have to it that, like the animals that kept on Meliodas is that of Wando, a raccoon, a deer, and many others to, like, see what's going on here, you know? And we see to it that, like, that's the reason why Hawk was able to handle Hendrickson's attacks, because he's really tough and strong from the purgatory. Not to mention, nobody's ever been cautious about him ever since he's personable and lockable. And we had to it that, like, Wild asks, like, can you tell me more about Hawk? And they go like, yeah, sure, we'll tell you. And we have to it that Wild's like, he has to be grown up to be such a fine man. And they go like, yeah, he's definitely grown wonderful, alright? So what does my brother do on the other side, you know? Is he a warrior like me? He's a captain of food scraps disposal nights. It goes like, oh, that's what a magnificent title. And we see to it that, they explain how Hawk is, and Wild became so shocked right now, he was hyperventilating. He go like, oh, whoa, what's wrong, dude? They go like, oh, man, we freaking, like, I think it's far from what you imagine, and you're going into shock, aren't you? And we have to it that freaking Wild had to go off into a vomit thing, because he was really, really surprised to see how Hawk or Mild was so different from what Wild thought of. And we had to it that, like, he definitely went to shock, but you know what? No matter how far off my imagination is or what path we may take, he is my brother, flesh and blood, you know? To me, he's my one and only precious little brother. And you know, he even explains, like, but I never thought that the door to the world where my little brother would be at is at the feet of the Demon King, though. And how long has it been? And we had to it that how long has the Demon King been there? And we had to it that Wild explains that he's been around a long time ago, ever since before I was born. He goes like he was still 3,000 years ago in the real world's time. So yeah, and we had to it that Wild actually fought the Demon King. He says, in search of my brother's whereabouts, I've challenged the Demon King countless times and always gotten crushed. Out of 12,118 battles, I've lost 12,118 times. So you could pretty much say in simple words that Wild, who fought the Demon King, never won at all out of 12,118 times. Even right now, Meliodas or Bongo's like, that's some crazy dedication right there. And we have to it that Wild explains that the two words give up are not in the dictionary of I, Wild. And he says like, and to now have been able to see hope that I may meet my brother again, I know what it was all not for naught, you know? Even right now, Bond goes like, I'm pretty sure Hawk will actually like be so scared of you the moment he sees you, or Shisho. And then we have to it that Meliodas says, yeah, I agree. And we have to it that there's a song that's been singing, you know? Like, my oh good night, my precious little brother. They go like, what kind of song is that? And he says, it was a lullaby I used to sing to my all the time. He loved this song. And we have to it that Meliodas compliments him for being a good brother, you know? And we have to it that Bond goes like, what's the matter, Tancho? Ooh, do you have a little brother as well, Sir Meliodas? As Wild asks. And Bond goes like, you know, when Wild was actually talking about, like, Master, I mean, you seem to have a face that I never saw before. I mean, if I recall correctly, Zeldris was your little brother, right? And we have to it that, that Meliodas goes like, not to mention it, I never properly told you about Zeldris now, did I? And they go, and Bond's like, hey, if you don't want to talk about it, I won't force you to, you know? And Meliodas is like, that's not it. It's just neither an interesting story nor a story worth hearing, you know? He even further explains that he had two little brothers, Zeldris and Estarossa. And right now, Bond's like, you mean Estarossa, the guy with the goateed mustache that killed you once? Yep, he's the middle brother. Hold on a second. He doesn't even look like you at all. He doesn't even have a face like yours. And Meliodas goes like, yeah, it's not like I can help about it, you know? And we have to it that that Meliodas continues the story when Bond stops interrupting. He says like that I was once hailed as a commander of the 10 Commandments and was considered to be the next line for the Demon King. And it's not like I completely hated it, but you know, no matter how foolish I thought the war with the Gods clan was, as the leader of the Demon Clan, I spent day and night in battle, like endlessly. And Zeldris, if I may humbly say, idolized that version of me, you know? You could almost call him honest and sincere to a fault. He learned how to fight for me and continued to bring down his sword for the sake of the Demon Clan, you know? And to be honest, I was never able to comprehend why he was so desperate and worked so hard. And we had to it that this is where Meliodas understands the moment he met Elizabeth, his entire world turned around, you know? He had someone precious to him, and someone he wanted to protect, and that's when he finally understood his little brother, because Zeldris, I believe, as Meliodas explains, that he had a loved one named Gelda from the Vampire Clan, and he swore that he wanted to continue to stop this war once and for all, and wanted to like battle the Gods and other clans without any reason, and that's why he became such a cruel, cold-hearted executioner to protect his beloved. But you know, Meliodas also swore to put an end to this war, but you know, like, he betrayed the Demon Clan, and without knowing, that caused the Holy War to start, and he's the one that started it. And we had to it that Meliodas explains the unexpected betrayal of the commander of the 10 Commandments caused a serious strain. Even the vampire sect that disapproved of being subservient to the king aimed to rebel. And that's why the Demon King set his execution of Zeldris to kill the entire vampire clan. But we have to it that he has to kill his beloved with his own hand. But you know, he doesn't even can't imagine to begin how much he suffered in that moment. But you know, the sad thing is that I'm pretty sure like Meliodas knows this though. He's the one that killed Gelda instead, and Zeldris actually sealed away Gilda, but I'm afraid he didn't mention that. And we had two that even Bond and Wild goes like, whoa, dude, that's pretty rough. And that's why Meliodas goes like, yeah, and that's about it. I couldn't be there when he needed me, you know, and I betrayed him. He even says like, and my brother's most precious thing was taken away by that time, you know? Pretty pointless story, isn't it? And we have two of the Bonds like, it's not pointless at all. And then we have two of that Wild ask like, what about your other brother then? And we have two of that Meliodas explains, I'll save that story for another time. But all of a sudden, Meliodas, the emotion goes like, something's wrong. My memories of Estarossa, I can't remember any of it. And we have to it that someone was talking to him and saying, you've noticed as well, haven't you? Like me, you are unable to remember anything. And they realize, and Bond goes like, what is this voice? And Wild's like, oh, hell no, there's no mistaking it, that's him. And we have to it that, like, he even says to Meliodas, like, you are so effeminate, so girly, it makes me sick. As I thought, my son has no need of your existence, emotions. And the Demon King appears right in front of him and gets ready to clash against Bond, Wild, and Meliodas. And we have two of that they all get ready for battle, and the next chapter is called A Glorious Battle. Yeah. So overall in this chapter, without a lot of details, if you're very confused, is that that Wild talks to Meliodas and Bond about his little brother, brought him to his home, and they end up talking about like Hawk, you know? Pretty much that's about it. Eventually, the second half of the chapter is where Meliodas talks about Zeldris and why he worked so hard to be cold and cruel, so he could end the war and be with his beloved and protect his beloved. But eventually, he was forced to execute the vampire clan because they planned to rebel against them. But there's only one thing for certain, though, is that, like, Zeldris chose to seal them off instead, you know? That's what Meliodas didn't bring up. Well, the emotions of Meliodas. And that's where things kind of gotten rough when he talks about it. But the moment he says he'll save Esterossa's story for another time, he can't seem to remember. And that's when the Demon King shows up and says he can't remember that either. And gets ready to clash against Bond, Wild, and Meliodas. Emotions of Meliodas. So it looks like to me things are not going to be looking pretty from here on out, because they're gonna fight the Demon King, and the only way how to like get through the door and to get to the other side of the world is to like get through him, because his feet or his entire body or power is literally on the door to the other side of the dimension. So I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I really hope it doesn't become disappointing either. But I really hope there might be another way how to like get them all to the other side, because honestly, I don't think they have a shot against facing the Demon King as they are now. There's no shot of that. Even Bond. So I don't know how Nakaba-sensei are going to work this out, but it's going to have to like flow correctly. So we'll have to see. Anyways, thought the chapter was pretty cool when they are talking about their brothers here and there. Anyways, looking forward to next chapter. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but it better be satisfying. So until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. So I'm Alpha Zero, people. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-doo!